Hello YouTube and welcome to another episode of The Cloudy Vape. In this video, we're going to be talking about the Kangertech Subtank Mini. I received this device from Cigabuy.com for review, so let's check it out. First, let's have a little vape on the 1.2 ohm coil at about 20 watts. Alright, so that's at the largest airflow setting. Now let's drop it down to the second to largest airflow setting. Now let's do the smallest airflow setting. I switched out the coil to the 0.5 ohm coil, and let's have a vape on that. First I'm going to vape it at about 25 watts, and I'm going to do it wide open. Then I'm going to switch it up to 30 watts, vape it wide open. Let's do it. Now let's go 30 watts. So there it is. There is some good vapor production out of this. Definitely good flavor at both settings, both coils. At the higher ohm coil, the 1.2 ohm coil, you definitely get a better flavor when you close off the airflow a little bit more. I personally like a more wide open airflow on the 0.5 ohm coil, but that's kind of just my opinion. But without more rambling, let's dive down and check out this device up close. So here is the Kangertech Subtank Mini. This is the box it comes in. Really cool packaging. This is a K for Kanger, of course. It says Subtank Mini. It has authenticator check right there. A few different things. This slides right off like that, and then this slides over just like that. So it's a pretty cool box. Definitely a pretty decent box. Let's set this aside real quick. So this is how it's going to come in. It's a little beaten up because it is a little snug fit. If you can see, I kind of scraped up right here, but it is a little snug fit. I just wanted to throw that out there. So I just washed this off with the water just to show you what it might look like when it was first packaged. This is basically how it's packaged. It came with the 0.5 ohm coil stuck inside of it already. And then let me set this down. This is going to roll. Don't roll. You pop this off and it's rolling. No, don't roll. Alright. So you pop this off, which was a little pain to get out, but whatever. And then you have a few different things in here. A few different goodies. So you have replacement O-rings to seal off the tank. You have some more O-rings and screws, and you actually have a pre-built coil in there and a screwdriver, of course. You have some organic Japanese cotton right here, so that's cool. Then you just have a little manual of what's going on in here, and then this is a warning. It's kind of like a caution. It says make sure to drip a little bit of juice on the cotton before you put it in the tank and get going with it, and also let the juice absorb into the cotton before you vape on it, or you'll get a dry hit. So those are just things they warn you about. So I'm gonna bag on myself a little bit. I am the worst person when it comes to losing things. Like I'll be building something and then all of a sudden my screwdriver's gone, and I'm like, where's my screwdriver? And so I only say that to say basically the rebuildable coil, basically what it is, I'll put a picture up for you right now. So basically what the rebuildable coil is it looks just like these replaceable coils, but it has a kind of a deck that you unscrew, you build on. It's just a single coil deck, kind of made for a single coil deck. It kind of looks similar to the original K-Fun styles. So it's just one airflow going straight up from the center. You have two posts on each side to connect your wire to, and then you just build it. You have some juice channels on either side of the coils that go down, that wick it, and that's about it. So really sorry, I cannot find it. I'm trying to do this video and I cannot find that coil, so I do apologize for that. And I'll post a link in the description to other reviews that talk more about that deck and also how to rebuild it and stuff like that. But do apologize, I have no idea where that thing went. So let's go back and talk about this. So it does come with a replaceable glass tank, which is awesome. Right out of the box you get a replaceable glass tank, and then also you'll see right here is where your rebuildable deck will be, the rebuildable coil right here, and then right here is where your at least when they shipped it, it was the 1.2 ohm coil, and the 0.5 ohm coil was actually in the device when it was shipped. So that's about all that's in here. You have some extra goodies and definitely some extra accessories to get going, also to rebuild and all that good stuff. So that's really why I, out of the box, I enjoy this Kanger a lot more than, say, the Atlantis. So enough about the box, let's check out this device. So this is a 22mm device. They also have a Nano, which I believe is 18mm, and then they have just a regular Subtank, which is like roughly 25mm. So it's kind of weird that they had to release multiple sizes, but it is what it is. I enjoy this size. I guess I would enjoy the larger size also, but this size is doable. So as far as everything else, it's kind of like your majority of tanks. You got your bottom section that unscrews. You switch out your coil right here. This little square thing is your coil, and all of this is made out of stainless steel. I'm not sure the grade, but it is made out of stainless steel. I would assume 304. Don't quote me on that, but that's my assumption. So here's your coil. You have a little grommet that goes in right there that seals off the positive and negative connection. Essentially, this entire metal is the negative, and this center pin is your positive. And if you see really closely, there is a rubber grommet. I'll put it closer. That rubber grommet kind of separates the polarities, and that's how you make connection with your coil. So the coil screws right down into here, and if you see down into here, you have a pin. And again, I cannot find details on this pin. It's either gold-plated or brass. If you know exactly what that is, go ahead and comment below, but I'm going to say it is a brass connection, although it is pretty darn shiny, so I'm going to say it could be gold also, but I'll just say it's gold and or brass. Of course, I can pull it out every single time, but when I'm showing you, alright, there we go. So the whole grommet came off. So this is a little grommet that seals off that positive pin. It basically just pops right in there and pushes right down in. So that is your bottom connection. You have a little bit of markings right there, but yeah, that's basically it. Very smooth 510 connection. Really enjoying it. Let me screw this coil on real quick. So if you see here, you have three different types of airflow. You have a wide Cyclops style airflow. If you slide it over, you have a blocked off airflow. Now it says there's 4 options of airflow, but this one is blank. So maybe the manual was for the larger one. I don't know, but it says 4 options of airflow. But when you switch it to this, the airflow is non-existent. So I'm not sure why it says there's 4 options. I could be crazy though. So if you twist it again, it's really hard to twist this with just the coil there. All right. Then you have a single hole airflow, which is roughly 2 millimeters, 1.5 to 2 millimeter airflow. Then if you twist it again, you have your third airflow option, which is roughly 2 1.5 to 2 millimeter airflow holes. And then twist it one more time, and you go straight to your Cyclops airflow. This is personally the airflow that I run all the time, just because I'm used to wider airflow as far as RDAs go. So with this tank, I'm going to be using this wide open the majority of the time when I do use it. So as far as everything else on this deck, you have a O-ring right here. I believe this is a replaceable O-ring. I can't really pop it out, but yes, it is replaceable, so that pops out. That O-ring seals off the glass tank that goes on top. But as far as everything else, that is about it. You have your coil, you have your bottom base, you have your pin that connects to the coil and also screws onto your 510, and that's about it for this section. So let's look at the next section. This next section right here is basically your top chimney and your glass tank. This glass just slips off. It seems like it doesn't slip off, but it does. It just slips right off of these O-rings, and then it just press fits right back into there. So that's pretty cool. It did chip on me, but I think I was just a little too rough. If you see right there, it did chip on me. It's not really affecting the seal, so I'm going to keep using it, but it did chip on me. I just wanted to mention that. So yeah, that's that. You have a Pyrex glass tank right here. So you have a 510 drip tip, very basic, simple drip tip, but it works very well. As far as everything else, I believe this is one solid piece. Now I'm not able to pop it off. Let me see if I can. Now, from my understanding, and correct me if I'm wrong, but this is one solid piece. I don't see any, I just don't see any option to pull this off. However, these O-rings do pop off, and I believe this O-ring does pop off right here. Yes. So both of these O-rings pop off, and so I believe, like I said, this is one solid piece. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not seeing any way without breaking it if this is multiple pieces. So essentially, it's a small amount of pieces. You have your bottom deck that connects to the coil and/or rebuildable RBA coil. You have your bottom pin. You have your airflow control. You have your top section, which is your chimney down here going through, and then you also have your glass tank that kind of sleeves over this tank, and then you have your drip tip, and that is about it. That's the breakdown of this. Very simple, but it does what it needs to, and it's a like I said, I'm sold on this one. I really enjoy this. So yeah, that is that. So what we're gonna do real quick is fill it up on camera for you. Basically, all you do is once it's in, you have your coil. Say you want to replace your coil, pop it out, just like that. Replace the coil, put it right back in. That's all you need to do. You're done, and then you fill it up right up to that line, basically to the stem. So I'll grab some of this Crazy Girl Eyes from Suck My Juice, and I will just fill it up for you so you can see. Basically fill it up just like that. Put more in. So as you can see, it's pretty close there to the stem. I'm just going to call it good right there. All you do is pop it right back on. And that is the ease of filling it. That's all you got to do to fill it. Very simple. So now that it's all filled up, you could just wait, let it fill, let it do its thing, and it'll absorb naturally. Higher viscosity juices might take a little bit longer, meaning a higher VG juice might take a little bit longer to wick. It does wick pretty well, but as far as how it works, if you want to know how it works, basically that hole right there inside of the coil, also you have another hole right inside of the coil. Basically you have a horizontal coil going in. The the canthal's wrapped around the cotton going horizontally, horizontal coil, and then the cotton is just kind of just the edge of the cotton is right there, and the edge of the cotton is right there. So it's just sucking into the sides and it's saturating the bottom of that, and then you have a horizontal coil going up. So this is not like the Atlantis. It's not a vertical coil. It is a horizontal coil. I believe they call them OCCs, organic cotton coils, or maybe, I don't know, but it's called OCC, so I would assume it's called organic cotton coil. Maybe am I wrong? Is that why it's called organic cotton coil? Is that why it's OCC? Who knows? But so yeah, that's the basic gist of this. There is a few videos on how to rebuild this, how to rebuild these actual replacement coils, and I'm sure there's a few videos on how to build it with an RBA, the RBA deck that comes with it. So I'll definitely put that in the comments below. And as far as everything else, really enjoying it. But let's go ahead and go back to FaceTime and talk about it a little bit more. Time to talk about pros and cons. So definitely a pro on this is that you have a rebuildable deck. That is absolutely awesome. I really dislike companies that use proprietary coils. Even if you can rebuild them, it's just the option to rebuild is just awesome. So definitely kudos to Kanger for thinking about that. Even though I'm a dum-dum and I lost my RBA deck, or the RBA coil rather, I'm sure I'll find it somewhere in my vape mess. I'll find it somewhere, but that's definitely a pro. The other thing is that replacement glass tank, that is awesome. I know the Atlantis comes with that also. It's just kind of the ease of use, and the fact that the coils come with organic cotton, pure organic cotton, that's awesome. It's not really controversy about like ceramic cotton and all that stuff, so that's really cool. Definitely pros on that. The airflow settings are awesome. You have restricted airflow to wide open airflow, so that's definitely a pro. As far as quality goes, I don't see any issues with quality on this. Very nice quality all the way through. Another pro would be the price. The price point is absolutely awesome. Another pro would also be that they have a high ohm coil to a low ohm coil, so even if you don't want a sub ohm, you can use the higher 1.2 ohm coils, or you can use the 0.5 ohm coil if you want, or you can switch it up and just use the rebuildable deck. If you're using a temperature control, you can use nickel builds. You can do whatever you want on that. So it is very versatile and it lets you do multiple things, so that's why I like it the most. As far as cons go, I'm not sure. It's hard to say, because a lot of max VG juices don't wick so well in this, but I guess it really depends on what juice you're using. Also, if it's a high sugar, if there's a lot of sugar in it, or if it's a darker juice, you're going to gunk that coil up really quickly, so you have to rebuild a lot or buy a new coil. So that's just one issue, but that's kind of with any type of darker juices, that's what's going to happen. But another con, I'm not sure about cons. I mean, I personally like the Kangertech Subtanks more than any of the other Subtanks at this moment. I haven't tried a lot of the other ones, but the few I have tried, I like the Kangertech Subtank the most. And that's just, that's a personal opinion, but those are just my thoughts on that. But as far as, the quality is great. There's always going to be a con with something, but for me personally, I would pick this one over all the other Subtanks. The Delta is nice. The Delta is a decent tank, but I don't know. I kind of found that the Kangertech is just more for me, so that's just my thought on this. So I want to give a big shout out to Cigabuy.com for sending this out for review. Thanks so much for sending this. If you guys want to know more about Cigabuy.com, definitely look in the description box below. I'll put a link to this device that I picked up, also a few other devices that I picked up from Cigabuy.com. And if you have any questions, I'm sure you can contact them or contact me about my experience with them. My experience with Cigabuy so far has been positive. I haven't done enough shopping with them to really have a lot of opinion on them yet, but from what I have gathered so far, they seem like a very decent company. If you guys know any more about Cigabuy.com, definitely comment below and talk about it. So that's going to wrap up this review. I hope you found it helpful, and if you have any more questions, definitely comment below or email me at cloudy.vape@gmail.com. Thanks for watching this video. If you liked it, please like it. And if you like my videos in general, please subscribe. And as always, stay classy and keep vaping.